हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। How we start with Jai Radha Madhava? Okay. Shri Gaur Nitai की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, जय राधा जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरवरधारी, जय गिरवरधारी, जय जय गिरवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, जय जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, श्री श्री राधा माधव जी की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। So thank you for coming for the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam morning class today, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to serve the devotees. So we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 27 and verse 1. So the last verse is 26.26, which is the last verse of the last chapter. I think with English everyone is okay, right? Yeah. Okay. So, the bookmark was in this direction, the wrong. Okay, 27. Okay. So we will be reading from 427.1. Before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, chapter 27, Canto 4, verse 1. This chapter is about attack by Chandavega on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kala Kanya. Naradu Vacha Itham Puranjanam Sadhrayag Vasamanya Vibhramayi Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramyati Patim. Naradu Vacha Itham Puranjanam Sadhrayag Vasamanya Vibhramayi Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramyati Patim. Narada Vacha Itham Puranjanam Sadhrayag Vasamanya Vibhramai Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramyati Patim. Mataji's. Narada Vacha Itam Puranjanam Sadhyag Vasamanya Vibhramai Puranjani Maharaja Reme Ramyati Patim. Okay. Narada Vacha. Narad said, Itham, thus, Puranjanam, King Puranjana, Sadhryak, completely, Vasmaniya, bringing under her control, Vibhramai, by her charms, Puranjani, the wife of King Puranjan, Maharaja, O King, Reme, enjoyed, Ramyati, giving all satisfaction, Patim, to her husband. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The great sage Narad continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Puranjana gave him all satisfaction. The wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. Purport. After hunting in the forest, King Puranjan returned home, and after refreshing himself by After refreshing himself by taking bath and eating nice food, he searched for his wife. When he saw her lying down on the ground without a bed, as if neglected, and devoid of any proper dress, he became very much aggrieved. He then became attracted to her and began to enjoy her company. A living entity is similarly engaged in the material world in sinful activities. These sinful activities may be compared to King Puranjan's hunting in the forest. A sinful life can be counteracted by various processes of religion such as yajna, vrata and dana, that is the performance of sacrifices, the taking of a vow for some religious ritual, and giving of charity. In this way, one may become free from the reactions of sinful life and at the same time awaken his original Krishna consciousness. By coming home, taking his bath, eating nice foodstuffs, getting refreshed and searching out his wife, King Puranjan came to his good consciousness in his family life. In other words, a systematic family life is enjoined in the Vedas is better than an irresponsible sinful life. If a husband and wife combine together in Krishna consciousness and live together peacefully, that is very nice. However, if a husband becomes too much attracted by his wife and forgets his duty in life, the implications of materialistic life will again resume. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore recommended Anasaktasya Vishayan, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Without being attached by sex, the husband and wife may live together for the advancement of spiritual life. The husband should engage in devotional service and the wife should be faithful and religious according to the Vedic injunctions. Such a combination is very good. However, if the husband becomes too much attracted to the wife due to sex, the position becomes very dangerous. Women in general are very much sexually inclined. Indeed, it is said that a woman's sex desire is 9 times stronger than a man's. It is therefore a man's duty to keep a woman under his control by satisfying her, giving her ornaments, nice food and clothes, and engaging her in religious activities. Of course, a woman should have a few children and in this way not be disturbing to the man. Unfortunately, if the man becomes attracted to the woman simply for sex enjoyment, then family life becomes abominable. The great politician Sri Chanakya Pandit has said, Bharya Rupavati Shatru, a beautiful wife is an enemy. Of course, every woman in the eyes of her husband is very beautiful. Others may see her as not very beautiful, but the husband, being very much attracted to her, sees her always as very beautiful. If the husband sees the wife as very beautiful, it is to be assumed that he is too much attracted to her. This attraction is the attraction of sex. The whole world is captivated by the 2 modes of material nature, Rajogun and Tamogun, passion and ignorance. Generally, women are very much passionate and are less intelligent. Therefore, somehow or the other, a man should not be under the control of their passion and ignorance. By performing bhakti yoga or devotional service, a man can be raised to the platform of goodness. If a husband situated in the mode of goodness can control his wife who is in the passion and ignorance, the woman is benefited. Forgetting her natural inclination for passion and ignorance, the woman becomes obedient and faithful to her husband who is situated in goodness. Such a life becomes very welcome. The intelligence of a man and woman may then work very nicely together, and they can make a progressive march towards a spiritual realization. Otherwise, the husband, coming under the control of wife, sacrifices his quality of goodness and becomes subservient to the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this way, the whole situation becomes polluted. The conclusion is that a household life is better than a sinful life, devoid of responsibility. But if in the household life the husband becomes subordinate to the wife. Involvement in materialistic life again becomes prominent. In this way, a man's material bondage becomes enhanced. Because of this, according to the Vedic system, after a certain age, a man is recommended to abandon his family life for the stages of Vanaprastha and Sannyas. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Isthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatrupescha Kripa Sindhu Videoscha Patiram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so thanks again to all the devotees for our Bhagavatam session today. So here, as we all would have been knowing by that from the 4th canto, chapter 26, already the story or the pastime of conversation between Narada Muni and Prachin Barhi is going on. And Narada Muni is telling about the story of Puranjana. This story is more like an allegory, which is like implicitly Sri Narada Muni is trying to explain Prachin Barhi that this is what you are doing actually. But he's not directly telling because he is the king of the world. So he's just using this story in the form that Prachin Barhi should understand, realize that who is he, who is the Lord, what is the sambandha, what is the relationship with the Lord, and what is he doing with this palace or how to say city of 9 gates, Puranjana. Pura means city, and this city of 9 gates is there in which this soul, who's a King Puranjana, is there. And what is he doing with that? So indirectly, Narad Muni is trying to explain about the importance of realization that who we are, who is the Lord, what is our relationship with the Lord, and what we should do further to establish and live that relationship with the Lord. So this was the background of the story. Of course, as we heard, that last verse of last chapter 26 is already done, which was about the guilty feeling of King Puranjan, because he went for hunting, and after hunting he was of course killing so many animals for his sense enjoyment as a powerful king. So he come back to his wife with a guilt feeling. Oh, I have left you, and for so long it's written here, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Factually, I am very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. So basically, he was feeling lusty and guilty that why he left his wife. And then in the next chapter, in 27.1, Narada Muni explains further about that once in this family life, once the guilt comes because of avoiding your household duties, then the person tries to rectify it. And now what is happening in this verse, where Narada Muni says that after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed the sex life with him. So now, like Puranjan is in a situation where he's feeling too much guilty of offending his wife, and then now it's a return, it's a turn of wife also reciprocating in that way and putting Puranjan under her control. As very nicely Srila Prabhupada explains here that this is actually practically in a materialistic life, it is happening like this. In the last verse also it is explained, and in this verse as well, that today the people who are not connected to Krishna consciousness, not connected to the temple, the whole day they work very hard. And after coming back from their work, they work very hard again to satisfy their family. And they think that this is the only duty. I mean, because they do not know the higher purpose, so this is the only duty. And this is the way only they are consumed day and night to just satisfy each other. Not understanding that time is slowly annihilating everyone. But this is the understanding we get from Bhagavatam, and that's why this is the supreme nectar of our spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam. So I come back to this verse, but then we see that from where Narad Muni started telling to Prachin Barhi, and already before this point, the children of Prachin Barhi, the Prachetas, they are already becoming the exalted devotees. And Narad Muni also understands the children is becoming exalted devotees, and Prachin Barhi is spending too much time in offering or making this material yagyas for some economical development and killing and annihilating so many animals. The karma is increasing, and he will have to go to the hell for that reason. And as a very compassionate sage, he is actually trying to help Prachin Barhi, that he should not suffer later. So he's explaining all these things, and then further coming in this chapter, which is really telling now the termination point of, I think 27 and 28 are the end of this story, more or less, if I remember, of Puranjan's story, and which is really telling this. This chapter is about Chandavega. This is the Kala in the city of Puranjan. So the time is annihilating so long after in this chapter, Puranjan was enjoying many years with his wife, and I think he had many children, many sons, and many daughters as well. But it is explained later that how the time is approaching him. Here it is very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada that once Puranjan comes back from his hunting, then he again engages back in his household activities, satisfying his wife, and then he stopped there to just continue to satisfying his wife for many years to come. And from here it is explained that it was good that he came back from mode of passion, ignorance. Killing animals is certainly mode of ignorance, passion. And he came to the more to the direction of mode of goodness, where you have a family life, where you take the responsibility of your household activities. But after that, he just understood that this is the only thing which I have to do to satisfy my wife. And there the problem is, which most of in our modern society also. At this moment, by the help of the devotees, by the help of the sages, the person should move towards the realizing the self-realization, or understanding the self-realization. Again, coming to that point that who am I, who is the Lord, what is my sambandha, what is my relationship with the Lord. And in this way, Actually, you can, first class devotee of the Lord can serve his first class wife. That's why it is said that it is okay to be the maid servant of such kind of a devotee. So the qualification of the man first comes. The implication of the woman never comes first. To whom you should surrender, to whom the good wife should surrender? To the first class devotee of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada also explains that if he's not really a devotee, then you are not obliged to be subservient. Of course, if you have some hope that maybe he is in the right direction, he is potential devotee not at this moment because of some impurities. He's not able to become the first class devotee of the Lord. Maybe he is a potential first class devotee. Is a time to come. In that hope, the service can be done. And that is why it is explained here. Sometimes this verse we have to understand in the context perspective. Otherwise, it's like some people can get a confusion also about it. That why it is told that man should control a woman. But it is explained in this context of being the devotees. So in general, as the the consciousness or in the female body, the mode of passion and ignorance is high. Doesn't mean that person cannot move to the mode of goodness. Like we all have some, Lord Brahma has made us like this, some has the Vata, Pitta, Kapha body, right? We all have, right? I also want to hear, so let's involve in our, right? Yes. We have some imperfections. Can anybody say that my body is perfect? I never get any Schnuffen or Houston or like these. I'm never got any headache. I was the perfect being from my childhood. Nobody can say this. Neither the man nor the women. They can't say, because that's how in the material world. So we are not talking about Goloka Dham at this moment in this verse, because the city of 9 gates, Puranjana, where he is living, it is about the material manifestations all. So from that perspective, from that context, we can understand that whether it's a man and a woman, we have the imperfect bodies. Then based on these imperfect bodies, with the impact of Vata, Kapha, Pitta, doshas, these are doshas, there is, based on different bodies, as a female body, as a male body, also there is an impact of different modes is there. Based and like you see sunlight or the cold weather or the summer weather would behave differently on different creatures. For some creatures, for some animals, cold weather is not at all a problem, but for them hot summer weather is a problem. In the same way, we are being constructed by the bodies by Brahmaji, and in this way we have some kind of limitations. Understanding that who we are. If the doctor says tomorrow that you have this particular Ayurvedic doctor, says that you have particular dosha, you should not eat this, then you should not eat this. It is not, and there is no reasoning behind it, oh, why I have got this dosha. I mean, you have to trace out several last lifetimes why you have got that dosha. But don't think about that dosha. Just treat that dosha, that imperfection which is there. You have to eat certain things which should not help to elevate your that particular dosha in your body. That's the simple way to do it. Otherwise, we can keep tracing what we were in the lifetimes, and there is no end to it. Similarly, when the soul is in the female body, it is anyways the soul. We are for the Lord, Shri Krishna. We are anyway the subservient. We are the servants. Doesn't matter which body we have come into it. And doesn't matter when, why, and what was the reason behind coming in whichever the body. We can still make the perfection of our life by understanding that what are the limitations. And not, today there is a big, I don't know how to say, propaganda or shout in the material world that equality of men and women. I mean, come on, just be logical. How the two unique personalities, how the two wonderful creation of Krishna, why are you putting them at equal? They are unique, they are wonderful, they are the best at their own levels. By equalizing, we are not doing anything actually. And I think what the mothers can do, the man can't do. What women can do, man can't do. And what the man can do, women also can't do. They have their own perfections and imperfections. They have their own, Vorteil, Nachteils, plus and minuses of their body structure. And that is why it is it is to be understood that in general, a devotee husband, a devotee man can be, with the good association of the bhaktas around, can be easily into the mode of goodness. And by following such a man, mothers, the ladies of the house, the children of the family can all become elevated to mode of goodness. So this is the crunch point which we should understand, that service is not for the purpose of making somebody feel dominated or dominate somebody or try to control somebody for making oneself superior. This is not the idea. If somebody does it for that idea, that should be rejected. That should be countered in some proper way. But when a man, a husband, who is a devotee, who understands the concepts of das anudas, who understands that I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, for that kind of servant of the Lord, it's no problem to become a servant. And then the whole family can get into Krishna consciousness very easily. And that's why in our scriptures also it is described that the big, very powerful kings, after certain time, as it is explained, that they should go for Vanaprastha. After they complete their duties, they give a handover to their children or to some responsible person, and they go for Vanaprastha. And many times they have took their wife also for the Vanaprastha. Because until the end, a responsible man, a responsible devotee husband will care for his wife. If that wife is also ready to serve such kind of devotee husband. So they even take them for the Vanaprastha also. And this is how the perfection of a man and woman, both, or the whole family, the perfection happens. And this is very important to understand. The moment when Kardama Muni, Sri Kardama Muni, when he realized that my child Kapila Muni now is young enough, he can take care of the responsibility of mother, he immediately went again for Vanaprastha. He was already living in a Vanaprastha. It was only on the request of the Lord, Supreme Lord Shri Vishnu, and Shri Manu. Mata Devhuti was the daughter of Manu, Swayambhavu Manu. She was the daughter. And on his request, and the request of the Lord himself, he got married. It is very nice to see that in this particular pastime of Sri Kardama Muni, Lord is bringing the proposal. What a wonderful thing when a human being receives the proposal by the help or the mercy of the Lord that, okay, Kardam Muni, she's a very nice lady, you should get married to her. And you can perfect her life, and she can also serve you in the best way. And that is why it is very important that we tell to our children from the young age, from the very tender age also, we can bring them to the temple. Because you will really get the instructions from the Lord, from the help of the devotees. If you keep your sincerity, then from the help of the devotees who are actually the sincere, the pure devotees, the nice devotees around you are speaking the heart of the Lord. And they can always help you find a right wife or a right partner for you. It's not the matter of eyes attraction. It's a matter of soul attraction to serve Krishna. And if that is the purpose behind our married life is, then it is perfect. Otherwise, it is just a sense gratification. So here we see that understanding the heart of Lord Vishnu, Kardam Muni agreed to that fact. But he was not attached at any moment. He was never attached to Mata Devhuti. And Mata Devhuti was very, very beautiful. She is the daughter of the first personality with all the power. But she served Kardam Muni in all the best possible way. She became, she became almost muscleless. She lost all the shine on her face. She has lost lot of weight, and she was just like a skeleton, more or less, with some skin on it. That way she was serving Kardam Muni. That's why the Bhagavatam is so sweet that all the examples you can get it from here. I think it was in 3rd canto, if I'm not wrong, about the pastime of Kardama Muni. And she was serving like anything. And when she was so significantly serving, Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. So with all that sincerity she was serving, that the point came where Kardam Muni also realized that she is like to the level she is heavily suffering now serving me. And then he approached Mata Devhuti, and Mata Devhuti very, very, politely requested her husband that because it's our family life, we want to beget a child. So if you think that it is okay, if you think that it is all right, then please kindly show mercy on me and help me so that we can make a good family together. And that is the mood of Mata Devhuti, and Kardam Muni was so happy that he created a flying city for Mata Devhuti. That is the behavior of a devotee husband. First, if we become like Mata Devhuti, then the husband should also become like this. But it's both ways. Yeah. So the idea behind, look, let's understand from the context that they were living in the jungle, in the forest. Vanaprastha, they were having a family life without a proper place to live. And then he created now, because to beget a child, they need a closed place, they need a big place also. And she was so weak at this moment, Mata Devhuti. Then he created, Kardam Muni was a very strong sage. He created so many servants, maid servants for Mata Devhuti. And they took her to some this powerful, miraculous pond when she took the bath, and then she got all her beauty back, all her like glow on her face, on her body, she got back. And then now it's the time. Mata Devhuti has served like anything. Now it was a time that little bit she should be served, she should be taken care of. And for all that thing, Kardam Muni created all the necessary things. That's why a good devotee husband should also create at least all the necessary things to get the wife to the platform that she should feel comfortable. She should get the ornaments, as it is explained here, that she should get all the basic things where we can remain happy and satisfied with good clothes, nice food, giving her ornaments, engaging her in religious activities. And then it's also of course, a woman should have a few children, and in this way, not disturbing to the man. Disturbing in the sense that the desires, because of the mode of passion and ignorance, the desires keep coming, keep coming. We learned from our last chapter of Puranjan's story that Puranjani, the wife of Puranjan, was having many servants, and these servants were having several wives. These servants. And these several wives of these servants are a representation of the desires. Endless desires come. Why it is connected to Puranjani? Okay, Puranjani is representing the material intelligence here in this story. And Puranjan is the soul. But through this material intelligence, you get a lot of desires. I get this one, and never ending. On the other side, Mata Devhuti was not having the endless desires. She had the one very legitimate desire. So here in this particular verse, it is explained that engagement of the women is important. So keep her involved in the service of the Lord, and not only for her but for yourself also. Because at least in the Kali Yuga, the occurrence of the desires is both very strong in the man and woman. But due to the modes within a woman is more stronger, and that's why the desires could be much more if it is not properly directed in serving the Lord. And very important to understand, I started my journey from a very small place of country, Bharatvarsha, India. It is very small place, Prayagraj. Desires were not at all, because we don't know so many things in a small place if you live. But over the time, when I went out for engineering, for learning and this and material education, the desire I can see, the desires which I didn't know also about that has also manifested within me. This is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. Endless. No, that many seconds you might not have in the life, that many desires can come through your material intelligence. And that's why we have to be very careful. That's why we should, this morning I just entered, I was outside and I was hearing the kirtan, and the rhythm of that kirtan when I heard, immediately the thought came that, my dear Lord, why I couldn't attend so frequently your morning artis, Mangal artis and this kirtan. Because this is the moment where all of your hormones are in the right way in your body, in your brain, which can align for the right things. But I'm unfortunately living little far from here, from this place, and I'm also in Grahastha life. Already the restrictions I can feel in my household life, which is stopping me. My heart is convinced, even to some extent my mind is also convinced, but the situation is not allowing me to completely surrender sometimes. Means this is the beautiful thing in the morning, to have the chanting the holy names of the Lord in the association of the devotees. It is so wonderful. It is a blessing to be. But sometimes many of the grahasthas may not have this situation. Nevertheless, still we can try here and there, whatever the best we can do it. And if you have the sincere desire to serve the Lord will provide the situation for that. Maybe not now, but one day. Because He is fulfilling the desires. That's why this 8.4 million species are there in this world. Because Lord is fulfilling all the material desires also. Whoever is really hankering for those material desires, Lord is even fulfilling that also. What to talk about our spiritual desires? So in this particular verse, we all have something to learn, that we do not get captivated by our material intelligence. So here, after coming back from the hunting, King Puranjan is really now captivated in the very, how to say, sexual life, and with his wife. And in this way, the material intelligence, which is Puranjani, the wife of Puranjan, is controlling the soul, is controlling the mind as well as the activities. The Puranjan might be understanding, as the soul understands, that Jivere Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. I want to be serving, but the material intelligence is so powerful. And there, the wisdom of the Shastras and the association of devotees come along to actually make a stop, a strong, how to say, Gefährbremsen. Huh? Of course, we don't want to make a Gefährbremsen in our family life. We should never do that. Gefährbremsen means like a very strong brake, just stopping your car very strongly. But of course, it is about not your car and your driver. It's about two living entities. You can't stop suddenly anything. But you should start taking first steps, and that can happen very nicely by the association of the devotees, by regularly taking the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It is such a wonderful, loving poem of Srila Vyasadeva. And on the instruction of Narad Muni, he has written this. All the problems of our life are very much addressed. In this particular Bhagavatam Shastra, we see that even the demonic personality like Vritasura also becomes a devotee. A personality who appears in the demonic family like Prahlad Maharaj is a wonderful devotee of the Lord. We see here the duties of husband and wife, how you can make the best family. We see here that what happens when we commit a Vaishnava aparadh. We see here what is the ultimate essence and ultimate goal of the life. Everything is there. From the beginning, first canto until 11th, 12th canto, we see amazing. I was recently reading about the 11th canto. It's just a nectar in this whole world. Nectar cannot be anywhere other than Srimad Bhagavatam. The way Lord Shri Krishna explaining to Uddhava, I mean, so many times Lord keep on explaining. Even our material father cannot be so patient with us as Lord Shri Krishna is with us. Material parents may not be. But Lord Shri Krishna is very, very patient with us. Again and again, very similar things he have explained to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, and much more deeper, but same things also is repeating to Uddhava. And the story of Avanti Brahmin is anyway amazing, but I think we don't have the time to go further deeper into it. But what I'm just trying to now conclude is that the conclusion here, Srila Prabhupada again explains, and I will read it. That conclusion is that the house life is better than a sinful life, devoid of responsibility. But if the household life is, the husband becomes subordinate to the wife, involvement in materialistic life again becomes prominent. And this point, I think I little bit forget. But if in the household life the husband becomes subordinate to his wife, involvement in the materialistic life again becomes prominent, because you came out of the sinful life. Why the sinful life you went in? First of all, ask that question. Puranjan went for the sinful life because of sense gratification and sensual desires, because of his false ego. In the previous chapter, it is explained the ratha, the ratha of wagon of this Puranjana is representing many things, false ego and false identification and his lusty desires, his sensual desires. So he was doing this sinful activity because of the desires. Now he came back, leaving all those sinful desires, came back to his wife in a household life, nicely serving her. But where are you coming back? it is also the creation of desires can come from the wife itself. Then again, to fulfill those material desires of your wife, which is the representation of, here in Puranjani, is the representation of material intelligence. If you are not controlled enough through the wisdom of Shastras and by the association of the devotees, then you will again get into the trap of fulfilling the desires of your wife, and then again maybe you will be doing more sins to fulfill those desires. And this becomes a cyclic, vicious cycle, where you now want to serve wife, and you want to think that, oh, I'm such a nice husband, but then you are creating more karma, more desires, and more fulfilling of those desires, and more sinful activities. So that is why it becomes more prominent. In this way, a man's material bondage becomes enhanced. Because of this, according to Vedic system, after a certain age, a man is recommended to abandon his family life for the stages of Vanprastha and Sannyas. This is the Vedic lifestyle. And the next level is further also. But this is for the people who really not coming to the platform of bhakti. Of course, after bhakti, in the bhakti platform also, you become a roaming preacher, you parivarajak, you go out in the whole world, like many of our gurus in ISKCON. They are continuously like, they are traveling to preach the message of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, at the bhakti life, also the Vanaprastha and Sannyas is there, but bhakti is the whole process which we can take in our life from the childhood. When we know that the situation from the wisdom of Bhagavatam, we know that this problematic situation will come, then we can already inform our children, inform our friends about this wonderful process of bhakti. In this way, the whole family, the whole society will grow in Krishna consciousness. I think that should be our motivation, and as much as we can take the shelter of this wonderful Srimad Bhagavad Puran. Thank you so much for coming together, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm very unqualified to speak, and of course I'm sorry to the brahmacharis. This was more like a household discussion today, so maybe it's informing, but I am not really going too deeper about the family life. It's more learning for all of us, but who are already in household life, it is very much important that we learn from the story of Puranjan. Thank you so much, and if any questions or comments or any additions are there to this session, please let me know. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, you can take this. I will repeat it, your question. Yes, please.
So we have a lot of examples in the Bhagavatam, some examples in the Bhagavatam of perfect household life.
Yes.
And you said that this Bhagavatam, this is, it works with this devotional services.
Yes.
Household life is not that.
Yes.
But otherwise, it causes problems.
Yes.
So then, and also Srila Prabhupada is not very, he doesn't like this woman independence movement.
Yes.
But this is also a symptom of a society that doesn't have transcendental knowledge. There is no, we may have some understanding of the Vedic cosmos
But are you talking about society with devotees, or so in general the society? In general, um, I think there will be many more elevated devotee better than me who can explain. I am just 7 years old or 8 years old in my grahastha life, and yeah. So, but from the wisdom of the shastras, I can just say this thing that if you ask anyone in society, in the streets, if you go and ask them, I mean, what the pleasure anybody get by always getting breakups and frequent divorces? What is this going on in the society? First, don't talk about to the materialist people. For the devotees, it's different because we have to understand from the shastras. They have some kind of a groundwork prepared for the devotees. But for the materialistic people who do not have any understanding about it, they would never understand the positive things. But you